thank you for coming, everybody. I hope everyone had a good lunch. And again, I'm very thankful to the people who not only cooked the lunch, but they spent a long time and a lot of effort planning that and purchasing the food and making sure it was here and appropriately stored. And we really, really appreciate their efforts. So welcome to the 2001 Cachalot Alumni Homecoming. And we're very happy to see everybody here. This may be our biggest homecoming event to date. We'll know at the end when we get to go through all of the numbers. But we're very happy to have you all here. And we're here today not only for a good reason to come out to camp, but to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the first summer at Cachalot, which many of you can read about the history now, not only in our website, but in our new book, which is for sale today, and you can get at a future date as well, probably our winter gathering coming up early next year. But we also come here to induct two folks onto the Cachalot Wall of Fame. And it's a funny name, the Wall of Fame. It rolls off the tongue far more than the Wall of Honor, which is really what it is. These are the people who have made, and entities, if you read the names up there, these are the people and entities who have made significant contributions over the 75 years to make sure that this place was here for us and the people who came before us, and all of the scouts and scouters who learned and grew while in this place, and just had some fun too. I think sometimes we forget about that. Scouting was also just about having a little fun. It doesn't always have to be about advancement, but advancement's good too. And we had built this place several years ago, this little site, to try to honor those people for letting us be here and letting us have this place and keeping it going for so long. And I'd like to welcome up first Mr. Dennis Prefontaine to tell us about the 75th Anniversary Committee and what they've been able to put together for us all this year.
Thank you, Brian. You know, I haven't stood here in this spot since 1969. My last year on the camp staff. This is the camp where I grew up. And it made an impact on my life so much that I made scouting my career. But a number of us that are here today, and some that could not be here today, have spent the past year, 15, 18 months, trying to plan this event and all that went into it and all the memorabilia that you see here today. One of them is Jonathan Widmark, who is the co-chairman along with me. He was director of field service here in Narragansett Council, and now he's a scout executive in North Carolina. Along with Vic Sylvia, Vic and I grew up together in New Bedford. He was in Troop 11, I was in Troop 1. We went to Film 1 together. Dennis Wilkinson's here, and he's going to be honored in a few minutes. Dave Paulson, the Honor of the Arrow Advisor. And Charlie Humphreys, who could not be here with us today either. Charlie was a member of the camp staff in the 60s along with me. We were all shaped by this place, so much so that we all went on in life to make contributions in our community, our trades, our professions, and scouting contributions as well. And there's somebody here today that was particularly important to me. And you've heard, you know his name. His name is, and he made an immense impact on me. Hired me for my first job. His name is Ed Tavaz, and Ed and I go way back. He was the camp director in 1961, when my first year on the camp staff. When I was the trading post manager in that little building right over there, and he hired me for $50. And some camps still pay that same rate. But he hired me, and because of that, it had changed the path of my life, so that I was able to go on and make my scouting contributions as well. So one of the things I want to just leave people with was this thought. You just don't know when you've touched the life of a child and where that life is going to go. Thank you.
I always feel strangely about this part because everyone who's here is important, but it's a good time to recognize some folks who came out to be with us today. Mr. Tim McCandless from Narragansett Council came out to be with us today. I'd also like to recognize some of the folks who are already on this wall who are here with us today. I hope I get everybody. Again, Mr. Ed Tavares.
Right here.
Oh, Ed, you're such a hard act to follow. Mr. Vic Sylvia. Often affectionately referred to as Pa by many people around here, and not to imply any sort of relationship, but often referred to as Camp Mom by a lot of people. Also with us today is Honoree Brenda Pomfret. And looking for the hat is Mr. Bob Richards still here.
He went home.
He's on the wall as well. He was here with us earlier today. But there's a lot of folks in the Cachalot family and on the wall who are not able to be with us today. And if we could take a moment to remember those folks, maybe those folks who impacted your life. Oh, thank you. I don't want anyone to think there's anything happened to Mr. George Boucher. He's also here. George, you came late. Some people are going to think I did that on purpose, George. Because, well, that's George. But, sorry, George. But to take a moment to remember those who can't be with us today, and if Bugler, please sound taps. Thank you for Mr. Tyler Ferreira and Mr. Art Caesar. What a great echo, the older generation and the younger generation. Unless I'm forgetting something else, which is entirely possible. I believe it is time to honor our inductees. And actually our 2019 inductee, which we had to postpone due to COVID-19, is Marcel Hudon, and I would like to welcome up Jason Oliveira to read for Mr. Hudon, as he was known to many of us. And the picture they picked for him is just perfect. Please take a look at it before you go.
Hello, everyone. I got to meet Mr. Hudon when I was a Cub Scout in the mid-'80s with Pack 24, and when I crossed over to Troop 24, he was there as well. Paul Dupont wanted to be here to read this for you. I'm reading it in his stead. Mr. Hudon was a true inspiration to Scouters of all ages. He was always willing to help out in any capacity. At the unit level, he served in leadership of multiple units over several decades, including Troops 43, 68, 14, 12, and 24. He was a fixture of roundtable staff, wood badge staff, training committee, and at Cachalot as camp commissioner. He was a longtime advisor to Neatment Lodge Order the Arrow, often helping out in the kitchen at lodge events. At camporees and other events, he was often seen with his frequent partner in crime, Wall of Famer Albert Hall, helping teach scouts how to build a hobo stove, manage a bean pit, or care for cast iron cookware. For his contributions, Mr. Hudon received multiple awards in scouting, including the District Award of Merit and the Silver Beaver. Dave Troll remembers Marcel like this: mostly working behind the scenes, and his contribution to Cachalot are too numerous to name, as he seemed to be a constant presence. One of his favorite recollections was Mr. Hudon's attempts at tree replanting, as he had black walnut tree at home and would bring bags of black walnuts and scatter them around camp as he walked around. He was dedicated to the betterment of Cachalot, and any remaining black walnut trees are due to his efforts. Professionally, Mr. Hudon worked as a machinist and would often use those skills to make things needed for Cachalot. For his service and program contributions, our members have selected Marcel Hudon as the 2020 honoree of the Camp Cachalot Wall of Fame. Thank you.
Now, I would like to welcome Mr. Hudon's son David up to accept the plaque from the Alumni Association. And Mr. Hudon was my assistant scoutmaster. So. Thank you. And the smile was perfect, but those of you who knew Marcel, you didn't get a picture of the hat with the spoon on it. Louis Lopes would be very disappointed.
I know it is.
So, that comes to our 2021 inductee. This day wasn't hard enough. But it gets worse for Mr. Vic Sylvia, who I'd like to welcome up to induct our 2021 honoree, Dennis Wilkinson.
A lot of you out there. Well, before I begin, I'd like to thank Kristen, Fiona, and Lila for sharing Dennis with us. This is going to be very tough. Dennis is one of my Eagles, so bear with me, please. I'd also like to thank Dennis's family members that are joining us today. Joe and Carol and Sylvia, Steve and Janice Medeiros, and Mrs. Nancy, make it out? Forget Nancy. Footnote. This is going to take a while. When I nominated Dennis, I tried to remember everything that he's done. So I'm going to see if we can get through this. Dennis first came to Cachalot as a member of Pac 12 New Bedford in the fall of 1978. He spent his youth in Pac 12, where he earned the Arrow of Light, Troop 12, and Troop 46 New Bedford, where he achieved the rank of Eagle Scout. While a youth, he served 2 terms as Lodge Chief of Nemat Lodge from 1986 to 87, 87 to 88. He also served on the dance, ceremonies, camp promotions, elections, communications committees of the lodge. He co-chaired the first Spring into Scouting event held at Cachalot and went on to serve on the staff for several years. He also assisted on many work weekends renovating the existing council ring. Still with Troop 46, he served as an adult as Assistant Scoutmaster. He went on to serve as Scoutmaster, Committee Chair, Committee Member with Troop 46, then as a Committee Member with Troop 1, New Bedford and Troop 24 and Crew 24 from 215 to present. Dennis served on the Camp Cachalot summer camp staff in various leadership roles from 85 through 91, serving as program director in 91. During this time period, he also served on Cub Scout Day Camp staff for 5 years. Dennis also served on the staff of the National Jamboree in 1989 and attended Philmont. Dennis has served on the Moby Dick Council Camping and Properties Committee. He is a member of the Camp Cachalot Campmaster Corps since its inception. He has served on staffs of numerous district and council camporees, scout shows, and Klondike Derbies. In 1991, Dennis served as a fill-in ranger while the council was conducting interviews for a full-time ranger. While a youth, he helped produce 2 Camp Cachalot songbooks that are still in use today. After completing college, along with fellow Eagle Scouts and Troop 46ers Peter Ashworth and Tom Whalen, Dennis hiked the entire Appalachian Trail. Although Dennis has contributed to Camp Cachalot, serving on numerous Otter Yarrow service weekends, Beaver Days, and alumni service projects, his greatest contribution has come through our Alumni Association. His tireless dedication to preserving history, traditions, and communications have inspired countless individuals to contribute to our archives and assist our association's efforts in maintaining Cachalot for future generations. Following is a list, so I hope you're all comfortable because it's going to take a while. He's founding member, first lifetime member, designated the association logo. He was the association secretary 2004 to 2007, association vice chairman 2007 to 2010, works with the council to keep our membership database up to date and assists members who have problems with membership in dealing with the office. He's currently serving as communications chairman technically from 2010 to present, although he's been filling that role for the association since day one. He is the primary author and editor of the Cachalot, 31 issues and counting, designs, writes, and produces nearly all of the printed material that comes from the association, including trifold brochures, reminders, posters, program events, including the homecoming booklet, which he donates every year. He does video production for our events. He maintains the association's website and manages our presence on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. This includes all of the Throwback Thursday, 5 Mile Friday series. He sends the membership welcome letters and renewal reminders, which if you get them, sign them and send it in. He makes the Wall of Fame presentation plaques at no cost to the association. He handles most presentations at our events. He sends condolence cards on behalf of the association when local scouts pass away. When we were awarding staff scholarships, he produced the congratulation letters given to the recipients. When Dennis is not busy doing all of the above, he somehow finds time to be the main archivist and historian for the association. His contributions there include he researches and documents the history of Camp Cachalot, Nokachoke, and local scouting in general, publishes dozens of articles on that history, including the origins of the 5 Mile Pond name, the brief history of series in the Cachalot in our website, and the Friday Night Campfire series on Facebook. He documents association events with new photos and videos. He has scanned thousands of historic photos and documents, photographed memorabilia, and digitized or donated the cost of film transfers, video and film for the association's archive, which currently stands over 8,000 photos, over 1,000 documents, and more than 40 hours of video. He continues to conduct interviews with numerous longtime local scouters. He spends many, many hours researching newspapers, magazines, and book archives, both online and at libraries on microfilm. He donates archival storage materials for those items given to the association. He produced the 75th anniversary history video. He maintains an archive of meeting minutes for the association. He has helped provide archival material for the OA's History Project celebrating the Otter Yarrow's 100th anniversary, along with providing archival material for Mike Muir's History of Nokachoke. Dennis designs and coordinates much of the association's merchandise except for silk screened items. These include polo shirts, stickers, Euro decals, and the unofficial print-on-demand store on Zazzle. He has served as an unofficial photographer for events at Cachalot for most of the time the association has existed. Dennis continues to donate the proceeds of photo print sales to the association. Since 2017 to present, Dennis produces a photo calendar at no cost to the association and donates both his costs and the proceeds to the association, amounting over $7,500 to date. Since the association's founding in 2004, Dennis continues to pay for much of what he does, often not seeking reimbursement from the association, and those contributions well exceed $10,000 over that time frame, not including photo calendars. You chose to place him on the wall. I have the honor of saying some things about Dennis. In 2016, I had the honor of being inducted onto the Wall of Fame by Dennis. After reading my nomination, he shared some of his observations of me through the years. When it was done, after some laughter from the attendees, I mentioned something about payback. It's payback to me. What I've done is I've put a few things on index cards. No, I would never do something like that.
Yeah, you would.
Instead, I wrote 4 pages in my book. As a scout in our troop, Dennis was always helpful in welcoming of new scouts into our program and providing leadership to the summer camp program and to Name at Lodge Order of the Arrow. While in the OA, Dennis was a member of the ceremonies committee that memorized all of the parts of the ordeal, brotherhood, and vigil ceremonies. Many scouts have enjoyed his memorization of the Ballad of Sam McGee that he was frequently asked to perform at a campfire. In 1998, our troop was invited to participate in the Quinnipiac Council Campfire celebration of the 350th anniversary of the state of Connecticut. The younger patrols participated in the afternoon's activities, and the leadership corps, made up of Dennis and other senior boys, were allowed to do whatever they wanted with instructions to show me some evidence of where they went and what they did. When we participated in camporees, the adults in our troop did all of the cooking to allow the boys to enjoy the activities of the day. As we were preparing the evening meal, Honoree George Boucher looks at me and says, "Vic, we may have a problem." When I looked up in the direction he was pointing, I saw Dennis and the leadership patrol being marched to our campsite by 4 very large and imposing Connecticut State Police. I was surprised that in the center of the leadership patrol was a young and very attractive Miss Teenage Connecticut. I went, oh. Apparently, they had spent part of the afternoon escorting her to various sites, and I was told by the biggest state trooper I had ever seen that the boys were perfect gentlemen and that they were instructed to bring back proof of where they had been. After completing college in 1992, Dennis, Peter, Ashworth, and Tom Whalen hiked the Appalachian Trail from Georgia to Maine. As circumstances allowed, the boys, now men, would be crossing Bear Mountain in New York State, as my wife, daughter, and I would be in the same area on our return trip from Kentucky. So we decided to meet them at the Bear Mountain Lodge and treat them to dinner. After being introduced to some of their hike-through friends, we were seated in the dining room and had a great meal and conversation. I learned that their next sleepover spot was only a mile or so away, so I offered to drive them to it. So I loaded their backpacks in the back of my station wagon, with the boys sitting 3 across in the back, wife and I and my daughter up front, being a hot afternoon, I cranked up the AC to give them some relief from the heat. When we arrived at the drop-off point, I tried to surprise them with a 12-pack of Miller Lite. You know, I figured that, you know, I had it in the cooler, it was nice and cold, and I figured that, you know, you were over the age of 21, and that the beer would add some carbohydrates to their system that they could sweat it. It was at that time that I found out that their sleepover was going to be at a Catholic retreat for alcoholic patients. After saying goodbye, we left for the 4-hour ride home, and I felt that God would punish me for that. He did. Apparently, spending 4 months on a wilderness trail, your clothing, sleeping bags, and backpacks acquire a unique and lingering aroma that permeates everything around them. My penance for the beer was driving the last 4 hours home with the windows open and gasping for breath. I could do more. In closing, Brian mentioned some good things. I look at the wall and I see 23 names. Who are the names on the plaques? And what did they do to be honored? There's carpenters, educators, state employees, professional scouters, retired military, a nurse, a foundation, a technical school, retired postal worker, retired firefighter, an energy company, maintenance worker, exterminator, machinist, and an attorney. What do they have in common? They all played a critical role in the 75 years of Cachalot. Today I have the honor to induct the 24th member to this elite club. The question is, how do I classify him with the aforementioned honorees? I like to think of Dennis as a builder. From the first organizational meeting of the association in 2004, Dennis has worked tirelessly to grow our membership through his expertise in communications. From a start of 66 members in 2004, we currently have over 180 active members with over 370 people on file. The association has over 150 members in 37 different towns and cities in Massachusetts. We have members in 14 different states, 2 foreign countries, and 2 active military addresses. Over 800 people follow our Facebook page, Twitter, and YouTube accounts. Dennis may not have built a building, shingled a roof, or dug a ditch. He did, however, build a community. Through his efforts, scouters from the 40s to present time have the ability to share their memories and the history of this place we know so well. His photography skills hang in our homes and workplaces with photos and calendars of Cachalot. Throwback Thursdays and 5 Mile Fridays continually bring us home to this place we know so well. Thank you, Dennis, for helping to build this family we call Cachalot. Some of you guys out there that know Dennis a little bit better than I do. You're offered to come up and say something about me, and you all check it out. You all anyone like to come up and say something about Dennis?
You remember the big event? Oh, no, I can't tell us.
I don't want to hear it. All right, well, in that case, it's my honor to present to Dennis Wilkinson this plaque on the induction onto our Wall of Fame.
right, I'm not often at a loss for words.
Payback!
Yeah. All I can really say is thank you. I see names on that wall that have been my leaders and mentors for 40 plus years of scouting. I see people in the crowd around me today who I think are every bit as deserving as being on the wall as the people who are up there. Some I know that I've been chasing people to write nominations for. It's esteemed company, and it's company that I'm very glad to be in. So, thank you, everyone.
So what Vic didn't really explain is that the payback comes now that Kristen heard of all the stuff you've done. She's been making a list of her own, and yeah, best served cold. So we're reaching the end of our ceremony, but before we do, the service patrol of Troop 24 will retire the flag for us. So, color guard, please retire your colors.
Color guard, front and center. Lower the colors. Stand salute or hand over arm. Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. 2. Color guard, dismissed.
I'd like to again thank Troop 24, Mr. Tyler Ferrer, for retiring our colors. Normally, we would do this in the summer when camp would be empty, and we'd say, please look around and remember your old memories and your old times. However, there are units in camp this weekend, which is lovely. So we'd ask, be respectful of campsites and units. And it's great that we're still using Cachalot. And I thank you for coming. And please eat some more cake and hang out with your friends. And don't go anywhere yet because we're going to have patches on sale. And Dennis, always make sure that we get group photos. He was so worried I wasn't going to say group photos. And I think this year he's going to be a little extra with the group photos. So at this point, I turn it over to our photography czar, and he will give you explicit instructions on how, when, and where to set up. So thank you all, and please get ready for your photo.